Hello fish fools, Jeff here. So this is my 20-gallon high wild molly tank. So all these adult mollies, this one large male here, two large females, both of those have had babies in this tank, and then some medium-sized mollies. There's a female there. And male. And there's also a couple mosquito fish in here. Male mosquito fish. That's one of them right there. The smaller, narrower looking fish. But yeah. So all these fish, I trapped them and collected them from the Las Vegas wash near my neighborhood and brought them home and released them in this tank. I also released them to an outdoor tub, a tub pond, and the mollies jumped out, and I believe the rest died, but there was female mosquito fish in there that are alive, like I pointed out in my last video that I was doing okay in there. But yeah, so I put some these little specks floating here that's cobalt smartemia fish food. So it's like little tiny pellet food, and I put that in here to draw the fry out. So there's one there. That was the first batch were born about 4 weeks ago, and then most recently the second large female dropped some fry. So there'd be some tiny fry in here, less than a week old. I'm not seeing them often. But similarly, I didn't see these very much after they were born. I'd have to scour the tank and find some little eyeballs to find them. But until they start getting a little bit bigger and coming out for food is when I see them. Yeah, I mean, look at this male right here. Super healthy. Good looking fish. So yeah, these wild caught mollies from the Las Vegas wash are healthier than any mollies I ever had that were store-bought. So prior to this, I have made attempts to keep mollies a few times, like my 29-gallon swordtail tank. I'll actually show you that. Yeah, so here's a quick look at my 29-gallon swordtail tank. So when I first set this up, it was my 29-gallon swordtail and sailfin molly tank. So the plan was swordtails and sailfin mollies. But the mollies did not do well. The first group that I had, I got a couple males and 3 or 4 females, if I recall, and they really didn't do well. They did have some babies, but none of them did well. There was like 2 of them that survived. For one of the 2 lived almost a year, but it was never was fully grown. I have older videos that showed that, and it just, yeah, it never really developed well. And like those sailfin mollies, they would have been whatever crossbred for color and didn't have like the big sailfins like wild sailfin mollies would have. But yeah. And then not too long ago, I tried again with some more sailfin mollies that were, looked decent at the store when I bought them, but just didn't do well in here. And It may have been that they can be brackish, meaning having salt in the water. Haven't added salt in any of my aquariums. I've thought about it, maybe doing a separate tank and trying them, but with other fish species, and especially like in here where there's corridors, the panda corridors, I've pointed those out a few times. They have had babies in here. Yeah, and the swordtails, it wasn't until I added some subwasser tang, and now that's really filled up the tank, but that's when the swordtail population took off in here. But yeah. But anyway, in here, a couple times I tried store-bought mollies, and they were never healthy. And here is the one other molly that I have right now. It's a black molly. This, by the way, is my 84-gallon community display tank, so I'm actually planning on doing a water change of this tank tonight, scraping the algae off the surface here and providing an update of this tank. But yeah, so that's the only other molly. And this is the second time I've tried black mollies. First time I tried a pair of black mollies bought from a store from a Petco, I believe it was. Petco or PetSmart. And those didn't do well. They didn't even make it out of the quarantine tank. Even in quarantine, I don't know if they had columnaris or something, but they just white spots, and yeah, they never survived to make it out of quarantine. This time I thought they were doing well. I did have the pair, the male and female, and they were both in here for a while, and the male just disappeared, but the female is still doing okay. But yeah. But overall, I've not had success with mollies, and all that I bought from the store, like all the sailfin mollies that I mentioned in the 29-gallon tank, I bought some from my local fish store, I bought some from a Petco or PetSmart, and they didn't do well. And again, the first pair of black mollies didn't do well. This is the best that they've really done, but even then, the male didn't last long, even though the female is here by herself. Yeah, let's go back to the 20-gallon tank with the wild mollies. Yeah, so these are the healthiest mollies I've ever kept, and they came from the Las Vegas wash, and I think they're the coolest looking. I like them wild type like this, with not bred to have other color. Just the wild colors I think are cool. I especially dig the male with its yellow outlined tail, and colors that it does have, kind of like an olive green, a little bluish tint. Cool looking. And yeah. The fry that are in here, looking good. So yeah. I expect that they will continue to do well, and the babies will grow and just be a large colony, and it's quite likely that I'll end up moving them to another tank, or keeping someone here and starting another tank with them. As far as mixing them in any other community tanks, maybe at some point I'll do that. Ordinarily, before I mix fish from different sources, I'll quarantine them and treat them with quarantine medications. These guys, as it is now, just them by themselves in here, I have not. And as healthy as they are, it doesn't appear that they need to. But I likely will do some preventative maintenance treatment at some point. I do remember early on, one of the females had what kind of looked like a a worm or something stuck to the outside of its face, but I don't know if that just, what happened with that. It disappeared as kind of like as if it ever happened. So I don't know if that is something where parasites might be in here, but I mean, as healthy as they are, it doesn't appear to be any internal parasites. I did actually have in my quarantine tank right now, I lost a lot of fish that I had in there. Going a while back, I haven't showed any updates on it, but my quarantine tank, I had a lot of different platies from different PetSmarts and Petcos, and I had gone a while without treating them, and then I was gone for a week, and this goes back several months, but yeah. I haven't shown that tank or any of them in platies in there that were not doing good after a while, and I lost a bunch. One mistake I think I made was combining them all, which I have done in the past, but I didn't treat them early enough with quarantine meds, and I think whatever internal parasites some of them might have had just spread to all of them. Yeah, these look great. After, I mean, it was about nearly a month ago when the first fry were born, and before that, I think about a month ago is when I first released them. So yeah, I've had them for a while, and they're looking good. Looking even, yeah, looking really good. Definitely better than any store-bought Mollies that I've ever had. But you know, so this is my water here is it's high pH from the tap. It's like pH is 8, hard water, and that could be why they're doing so well, because these are from the Las Vegas wash, which is, you know, it's like runoff water, so I figure it would be the same like high pH water as my tap. It comes from the tap here in southern Nevada. Yeah, looking good. Alright, yeah, so next I figure I'll show an update of my 84-gallon tank after I do water change and clean that up and provide an update. But yeah, these wild mollies are looking awesome. Alright, well that's it for now, and remember, I'm Jeff, and I enjoy fishes. Thanks for watching.